You don't need a lifetime to build a self-sustaining business, one that operates without you, but actually thrives better with you. Your freedom comes when you invest in your people, you lead with purpose, and you streamline your operations.
You don't wanna never count yourself out, make it a great one. Just be sure to leave out the doubt, time to wake up.
Hi, I'm Harrison Tash, and with me today is Jason, and we're talking about the 8 to Great framework. Now, over the last few videos, we talked about the foundational 4. We've hit on healthy leadership, we've hit on compelling vision, and now we're talking about purpose-driven. So let's start off with a quote first that really hits it home. The 2 most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Mark Twain. And so when we're talking about purpose-driven, I think this hits home as like we have purpose to what we do in our lives. But when we're talking about businesses, why do we think it's any different for a business? There's purpose to what a business does, and that's what we're talking about today.
I think it's also easy for any one of us to kind of make this a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And when we do that, maybe we're forgetting purpose or we're skipping over it. And so I think there's value, there's merit to it. And we shouldn't take it for granted that everybody knows it just because it's on the sign or just because it's, on your business card. There's something deeper that you're talking about.
Yeah, well, and actually this brings up a good point, like we assume it. Well, there might be some companies out there that don't believe they even have a purpose. Or they might believe that it's only for the owner. I actually just heard a YouTube video where the counterintuitive thought that the guy's bringing to the audience is, let's be honest, you started this business for yourself. And my thought with that was, I thought about purpose-driven right then. I was like, even if that is true, that's why you started it, it cannot and it won't be the reason why your business grows, scales beyond yourself, and actually, produces more and more opportunity for other people. Right? So we can't stay there. If that's why it started, it can't be the reason why it keeps going.
Yeah, that's good. When I think about purpose, it's not just what problem are you solving.
Yeah.
It's why are you solving that problem? Why you? Why did you choose to do this? And why did you choose to join this team to do this? So talk about purpose a little further. When we're thinking about purpose, it's not just to the company or the organization. That you're talking about a bigger conversation here.
Yeah, so we're going to split it into 2 parts, right?
Yeah.
So first we have personal purpose, but then we have collective purpose. And so both these are what we need to align in our organizations. But before we do that, I think that if you're listening to this and you're thinking, man, this is fluffy, this doesn't, this is not what's going to help me get to the next milestone of our revenue or to our growth of our people, I think we want to say, pause and rethink this, because what we're talking about actually affects the bottom line of your organization. If you don't know how to align the people in your organization to the why of what you do and why you do it, you're never going to grow into that company that you wish to emulate or the one that you dream of. Now, I will preface that too a little bit with, we have seen companies make a lot of money.
Right.
And they've gotten to that point without any of this stuff. But in my opinion, they were just a mere wrinkle in time. They were just a cog in a machine. There was nothing special about them. And what do we see? We see turnover.
Right.
Well,
that's the conversation you got to have with yourself. Do I just want to be a good project?
Yeah.
Because without purpose, that's all you're going to be. You're going to be a good project, and projects start and projects end.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to be trendy, and when the trends are up, you're going to do well. When the trends out, you're out.
Yeah.
You didn't have long-term purpose, deeper purpose, wider purpose. You didn't have something significant and impact that you're wanting to make.
Yeah.
You just found a niche, and you filled it.
Yeah.
And that's what will happen if you don't have purpose.
So as we go into it, I think that, if this sounds fluffy and it doesn't sound for you, then turn it off. Go to the next video. Because we're talking to people who want to invest in their people, who want that sustainability, and can see how it does affect the bottom line. So let's talk about personal purpose, right?
Yeah.
So personal purpose, I'm going to read some of this here that I think is really impactful. But we need all different types of purpose in our organization, and those are the individuals in our business. Collectively, we're going to have people come in with their own personal purposes of what they think they are living their lives for, or what they're passionate about, and this is a good thing. And actually, I read a story, I won't mention the name of the company, but they got to the point where all they had was highly motivated, extremely go-getter people, and that's all they hired, and they were all under 25, right? They were all under 30 years old, whatever it was. It was young people. So you look at that and you're like, well, they've created this because they said this is what we want, and now they created this organization where it's just one thing. And if that's what you want, great, but most organizations need this kind of variety of different kinds of people.
You want different mindsets. You need different skill sets.
Yeah.
People that are motivated by different things, because you're going to have someone who's, with their skill set, they're going to bring a different eye for quality. Maybe they're going to bring a different artistic eye that's going to broaden your audience or help you with your messaging to get it to so it outlives you, or you can get to that next generation. You also got to have people who really value details, and I don't know. So in some of the things that you're talking about, you're talking about finding people who have a certain propensity, and they value certain things, motivated by certain things, and we could talk about some of those if you'd like. But then how do you align that to your overall collective purpose so they can find their individual role and be a part of a collective team? But if they're not flourishing, if they're not finding life and reward or whatever their motivators are, if they're not finding that personally, they're not going to contribute collectively.
Exactly. And we always ask, okay, are they, so we're talking about a certain person, are they using their God-given skills and talents?
Right.
And sometimes we're like, I don't know. What are their God-given skills and talents? That's where we need to start.
Yeah.
What's the motivations that they have? What are they passionate about? I think of here's some examples of different types of motivations. The person who wants to pave their own path, the person that wants achievement, they want these rewards, right? You have individuals who are more people-oriented. They love being around people, and that's what they're motivated by. I would like to say too, I don't think this is just like we have one motivation. There's multiple motivations we have that then creates purpose for us. And so what we're really speaking to is the people that are on your teams, right? So if you're a president of a company or CEO, right, it's maybe your direct your direct supervisors that you have that are part of your leadership team, your managers. Like, do you know them well? Do you know what their motivations are? Do you know what their purpose in life is? What brings them that purpose?
Right.
But then you do that so that they emulate it to their teams. And it's like, hey, you got to get to know your teams and understand what's important to them. There's two stories I think kind of share this in different lights. One, I'll call him Bill. Bill was someone that I knew. I would talk to him all the time. I was always interested in him because all he talked about was fishing. And it was like, I would just ask him, like, Bill, you're a very well-known manager in this company, but all you talk about is fishing. Like, why do you like fishing? And I asked him this, and I thought it was a great explanation. He's like, hey, listen, I got to where I am because I was just good at what I did. But yeah, I'm super passionate about fishing. For him, he wanted to have his own charter company one day. That's what he wanted to do. So what would he do? He would talk to the manager of the company, and he would take them on little excursions and teach them how to fish and stuff. And the company started to use Bill as the fishing tour guy. Down the road, clients started saying, we want to go fishing with Bill. So this story shows how a company can take a purpose of someone that they like they're motivated by these other things and integrate it into a company. Now flip that on the other side. We'll call this one Cody. Cody was a farmer. He was a military guy, and you could tell what Cody was motivated by. He was just driven to do the biggest, baddest projects, right? And so when you look at those two, which one aligns better with the organization in most people's minds? It's Cody. Cody takes on these huge projects. Cody does all these big things, and it aligns directly with what we want to do. I think that the story of personal purpose is you're going to have people who are not Cody.
Right.
You're going to have the Bills. And the organizations that learn to align these things are the ones that are going to be thriving in their culture because they're aligning that personal purpose with what we'll talk about next, the collective purpose.
That's good. I think a healthy leader can identify natural talents. I think when you get people who have natural talents and you can help them shine, they're going to naturally draw people who appreciate those talents. You get natural teams serving together. There's amazing things, breakthroughs that are going to happen. One of the ways that that I've seen this done or I've practiced myself is it's the simple question, and it can be a scary one.
Yeah.
But it's this question: when you think about leaving, when that happens, when you're here, like, can we just be honest? We all think about leaving from time to time, so it's okay. But when you are thinking about leaving, what are you thinking about doing?
Yeah, that's good.
And then how can I figure out how to take the things that they're thinking about doing and integrate that creativity, that force, that energy, the synergy, the entrepreneurship, that drive, and bring that into our collective purpose?
When you said that, what I thought about immediately was people leaving the organization because they want to go do something else. How many times do we hear people say, if I could just find the right people?
That's right.
You've got the right people.
That's right.
Figure out how to really bring in what they did. Now, I'm not going to ignore the fact that we always have a need for someone else in our organization, whether it's a new position or we're looking at expanding. We're going to have need for people, and you may not have the highest performers, but we're always looking for this. We go back to the story of Mike in the healthy leadership section. It's like we're looking for these high performers, but we can actually make high performers just by understanding not only their purpose, but aligning and bringing out those God-given skills and talents. I've seen people shine in organizations that where you would never have known their talents, but when we figured this out, it's like, oh wow, you're really good at this.
Yeah.
And one of the stories is a company that created their own marketing division based on a skill and talent of one person that had a vision for their company to say we could do this in-house. Mm-hmm. Right? And they're like, well, we never even knew you were good with the camera. We never even knew you were good at this,
You got to make room. So if they could go back, if you were to go back and learn where we talked about the gig, they would pick this up about investing in your people.
Investing, time and energy.
And being able to create relational equity. If you can get to know, if you can get to know people on that level and create some trust and vulnerability where you can ask a simple question. What is one area, one thing, that if you think we did this, our company would improve overnight?
Yeah.
And they've been thinking about it. They've put thought into it. They've been,
There's normally an answer.
There's an answer. Yeah. They have something. And so for me, when we've done this, we've often found people that they were maybe over in this department, kind of like what you were talking about. They were doing this, but all of a sudden, as I begin to lean into their curiosity, things they've been thinking about, oh man, we had them misaligned.
Yeah.
They could do this really well. But when we begin to shift them and let them do something over here, now we begin to find exponential growth, and we were able to find someone else to step into that role. So just being able to find out what drives that person, what is their purpose, and how does that drive them, and then how can you align that?
Yeah. So that's a great, bridge to get us to collective purpose. So what is collective purpose? Well, you kind of defined it, but let's define it for how we define it in its totality. So it's the foundational reason for a company or team's existence beyond profit. So when we want to attach revenue to things, we want to attach like this is what we do, and we provide jobs, or we have this revenue. That's not always going to grab people's attention to want to be a part of your why, right?
Right.
And we talked about that. Like you saw that YouTube channel was like, let's be honest, you started this because, well, that's not going to bring purpose and meaning to other people. And so when we talk about collective purpose, we do want to understand the why we exist question, right? So let's practically break this down. 3 questions that we can ask to really provide some tangible resources for companies to say, why do we exist? I think the first question we do have to ask is, what do we do? Who do we help? And how do we do it? It's just a baseline to help us get it out there of like, does everyone agree that this is what we do,
right,
how we do it,
right,
and who we help? I think that's the clarity piece.
Right.
Yeah, and then when we build on that, we're asking another question.
Yeah, we're asking. Those are foundational. We shouldn't just. I hope you just don't pass right over that. Take time. And matter of fact, here's what's interesting. Don't answer it yourself. Ask the people on your team
first before you define it.
Right. Yeah. What do we do?
Yeah.
What is it that we do? Who are we helping? How do we do it?
Yeah.
And you might find out like we got 10 answers and they're all different.
Yeah.
And so
then this happens, right?
Absolutely.
This is what we expect to happen in these sessions when we do this is like people are going to answer so differently. Mm-hmm. And what one of the I guess denominators we find is that it kind of plays off a little bit of personalities.
Yeah.
Right? So you have this, say, like an estimating department or bidding, quoting department. You know, they're so detail oriented. Like, what do we do? Well, it's like, well, we give people the best price and we give them the best, quote that we can give them. And it's like, yeah, that's what you do. But what do we do as a collective whole?
Yeah.
And so listening to these things out, that's you're right. It's a lot.
And I love it because it does help you see like, that's right, this is much bigger than me or bigger even than our team or department. Your second question is, what makes you so unique that people would want to repeat it?
Yeah, because I think we're starting to scratch the surface of purpose here. When we can find uniqueness to our business, we start to just scratch the surface on that a little bit. It's like when you figure out what people are motivated by, you're scratching the surface. It doesn't mean that's your purpose. But it's getting us to a part where we're finding the meaning that's a little deeper, right?
Yeah. What is unique? What is it? And if you can hone in on what makes us unique, what is the differentiator?
Yeah.
Now you know how to really, again, it just helps you manage your mission drift or your yeses and your nos and really dial in deep. And then you talk about it's a value proposition question. What makes this valuable to others, or why does it matter to other people?
Yeah. Well, and I think at this point, you're really starting to hit on that your purpose is actually making an impact. Mm-hmm. And this is where you start to really dig into it a little bit. But why does this matter? If you could imagine it as, you have these the personal purposes of all of your employees, of your leaders and all that, and you start to see where we can bring it together, right? And it's like, what's the impact we make in a community? What's the impact we make in individual lives?
Right.
And then you start to you start to form something in a company that's way bigger than just yourself. And then you have this alignment with that, with the collective purpose and personal purpose. But to make it even more tangible, your goals and your vision all start to make sense when you start to discover the why of what you do.
I love the overall, like out of all the 8 to great, at the center of it, one of the things we're talking about is this is what drives culture.
Yeah,
it builds
growth,
culture.
Right?
Growth and culture. You have to be willing as a leader to take time.
Yeah.
To appreciate each person's purpose.
Yeah.
And each team's collective purpose. Because if you don't see it, they won't see it.
Right.
Or they'll eventually stop seeing it. So your role as a leader is to help them not forget the impact they're making widely in what they're doing collectively together.
So let me bring this down a little bit because we are talking very, theological here. Yeah. And I think of it like there's this one example with this large company that had an accounting team. And the accounting team started to see these videos that were being played from drones. So it was showing kind of the projects that they were building. The accounting team was seeing these drone videos and they were like, well, I didn't know these exist. And it was like, well, what does it matter to you? It was like, well, I was doing the billing on that project. And so now you're starting to, you need to see the end result of what we're doing to have meaning to what you're doing. And so now we start connecting the dots. Mm-hmm. This is why it becomes so important because you can get siloed in companies to where you feel like, well, I'm just the guy that just, does the marketing. Okay, I don't see the end results. I don't get to meet with the customers.
Right.
Okay, well, let me show you some testimonies from our customers.
Yeah.
So when you incorporate these things, you start to align their personal purpose with that collective purpose, and it's bringing that alignment that you want. So let's go over some examples to kind of bring this down for others to relate to. the thing I'd like to say is does not mean it needs to be a statement.
Right.
Right. It could be bullets. It could be just a little paragraph. You guys, kind of anchor yourselves in. I don't know about you, but I don't like it when we're like, oh, it's got to be a well-polished statement. Right.
Yeah. It could just be a value.
Yeah.
That you practice over and over and over.
Yeah. And we're going to hit on values next. This will be very appropriate. So let's talk about these examples. So we have a general contractor here. Their purpose is we build landmarks that impact the lives and communities we serve. What does this do? It now forges this relationship between the community and the projects that they build. Mm-hmm. And it's not just a statement to them. This is something that I've heard the CEO say many times. Like, guys, don't forget why we do what we do. Because at the end of the day, we're building these, but we're not building, casinos, and we're not building these kind of things. We're building things that build our community, right? So aligning with your purpose. Go ahead and read the next one then.
And I want to say, if you do make it a statement, you better monitor it and evaluate it often. Because you want to lose brand integrity quick.
Right.
Put a statement out there that you're not living up to.
You're not living out. Yeah.
And you're going to bottom line.
People sniff it out, right?
They sniff fake. They can smell fake. Well, I was looking at one airline that says to be the world's most loved, most efficient, and most profitable airline. Now, I didn't say the airline for a reason.
Yeah.
Because I bet if we could have everyone type in what airline they thought of when we said that, I bet it's not the same airline.
That's true. Yeah.
That's why it matters.
Different experiences, different consistencies.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. But I like what they're saying here. I don't know if it's living out. I can't see the evidence of it.
Yeah.
But I like the statement. Right.
Oh, absolutely.
So
you can measure it.
Yeah, you're losing it. Are you losing it or are you moving towards it? Right. Yeah, that's a good thing. We grow leaders who deliver best work. Now, this is one of my favorite small companies in our area. And, I'll repeat it again. We grow leaders who deliver best work. I love this because they're consistently bringing in young talent where they don't know what they want to do with their lives. And they're showing them this is a way you're going to teach you skills. We're going to teach you all these things. And you love those tangible things.
Right.
But most of all, we're going to teach you how to lead.
Yeah,
I just love that.
The other thing I like about this one is that statement has nothing to do with the product that they're in.
Yeah,
exactly. But what they're saying is we can teach you how to do that.
Yeah.
But what we need is the right person and the right work ethic. And if you learn the skill, we can teach you the skill. You bring the skill, you bring it, but we want to invest in you to be the best leader who does the best work. And our product will stand on its own. It'll take care of itself. So
and I don't know why I didn't say their name. I mean, this is Dancer. They're an epoxy terrazzo floor company. Look them up. I mean, this is a company where you can see their values being lived out. You can see their purpose being lived out in their company in all of their videos that they show.
Dancer Concrete?
I mean, they're an amazing company. So look them up. All right, so let's go to LinkedIn. I think this one is actually, it really grabbed me because I'm like, I actually see this. What is LinkedIn's?
Create economic opportunities for every member of the global workforce.
I thought, wow, like their purpose is so clear to me.
Right.
I don't know. Like, what was your thoughts when you read that? Does it feel clear or does it feel not?
Yeah, I think I could have, if you would have asked me what their purpose was, I would have said something similar without reading it.
Yeah, and that's how you know you're aligning your organization to your purpose. That's pretty phenomenal. All right, Microsoft. Now listen, again, these are big companies, but we also gave you some small companies, so hopefully this is relatable. But Microsoft, to help people and businesses throughout the world realize their full potential. I'll admit it, like if I didn't have Microsoft Suite, I wouldn't be able to run a company the way I have, right? They've offered websites, they've offered things that have made it so easy to go with them and be able to do that. And I actually think of GoDaddy when I think of this too. It says, we will radically shift the global economy towards small business by empowering people to easily start, confidently grow, and successfully run their own ventures.
Right.
This is how we got started. This was our first website, years and years ago, was GoDaddy.
Nailed it.
I was like, they made it so easy for me. I had my email through Microsoft that was connected to GoDaddy. Mm-hmm. And it was like, wow, they're living out their purpose.
Yeah. When I think about just all that we've talked about, I want to bring it maybe even just back to a practical thought. When you started, your own business, when you started your own business, there was a purpose inside you. There was something that you wanted to live out, something you wanted to give yourself to. As you begin to grow and you invite people into that mission, if you don't help them find their personal purpose fulfillment and collective purpose, and it all your big vision and the purpose that you set out to do is going to diminish.
Yeah.
So if it was important enough for you to start it, don't we think it's important enough for them to understand it, have it, and be fulfilled in it to keep what you wanted going?
Yeah.
It matters.
Oh, it matters. And I really want to end with this, which is, we can sometimes think this is so light and fluffy, but like I said at the beginning, this affects your bottom dollar. I mean, if you don't do this well, you can't scale well. If you don't do this well, you will have high turnover rate. If you don't do this well, fill in the blank.
Right.
I mean, this is affecting your bottom dollar. Just because we can't see it, it's not tangible, it's not, doesn't mean that it's not actually going to help you build the business that you want to build to find that freedom.
Purpose-driven is a lid lifter.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, good stuff.
Goals never die, souls gotta fly high. I'm taking off to the sky, and with every day that goes by, I'm making sure that it counts. It don't matter what's the amount, you only get now.